Welcome back to another PCT Short. I'm Jonah Johnson. So if you happen to notice at the bottom of the email page when you receive our weekly videos, there's a link at the bottom to submit questions from viewers like you. And so the question this week is why do when soybeans germinate, they seem to sit there for a while till they begin to actively grow? So let's talk about it. So when we plant soybeans, and which seems to occur early and earlier every year, because a lot of university research even dictates that the earlier we plant, if we can have row canopy closure by June 20th or summer solstice, in theory, we'll have enough solar panels to maximize yield potential through the rest of the growing year. And so a lot has to happen for that to occur and be successful. So when you think about soybean emergence and germination, that seed has to initially have enough water once planted, and it has to take on 50% of its weight in water till it'll begin to swell and germinate. That first root structure that penetrates down is the radical root, and that system begins to grow. The first stem it pushes towards the soil surface is a hypocotyl, and it pulls those cotyledons up out of the soil, as we're all aware of. Several things has to occur. So number one, the water, and then temperature. We have to have enough GDU accumulation for that process to continue at a solid pace. Now, obviously, as you're aware, when it's cold and wet, no-till conditions like behind me, there's a lot of rubbish on the top of the field. This process is slowed way down. So, and not to mention things like seedling blights and insects can all impede that and slow it down. So once that plant gets above the ground and those root systems are very in its infancy, it takes time for those to grow and tap into nutrient reserves in the soil. So what can we do to help expedite that? So first of all, I hope you're always treating with at least a fungicide seed treatment. Considering things like PCT Crop Protect, Premium ST, for example, to help defend against pathogens and insects. And then thinking about Bio-ST plus R, for example, the inoculation. That becomes more important than ever when we have these super wet springs and really hot, dry summers. It basically is very, very hard on that rhizobia bacteria in our soils, and it just doesn't overwinter like what once thought to do and be there for the next soybean crop. So that becomes really important. And then the final thing I recommend is using PCT overtreatment, a key micronutrient package that can be put on the seed treatment, and that is theoretically an umbilical cord of nutrients, and it really gives those plants a boost till those root systems can extend themselves and tap into those soils, the nutrients available in our soils, and as they warm up, they'll provide, and that plant will be off to the races. So if you have further questions, follow us on PCTnutrients.com. I'm Jonah Johnson. Thanks for watching.